BTS News Today. Jungkook officially appointed as Louis Vuitton model at USA Fashion Week 2025. Is it true that a K-pop idol is now the main face of the world's most influential fashion house? Why is Jungkook's name being touted as the new icon of the global fashion industry? And what does this decision mean for the future direction of BTS? That morning, the world woke up not to alarms or warm coffee, but to an announcement that shook international media. Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, was officially appointed as the main model for Louis Vuitton for the exclusive collection presentation at USA Fashion Week 2025. This isn't just a collaboration, it's a coronation. A strategic move that surprised even the most experienced fashion observers. It's not just because this is a milestone for the global fashion industry, but because for the first time, an Asian male celebrity is not only appearing on the main stage, but is the center of attention at the most prestigious show on the American fashion calendar. Jungkook isn't just wearing Louis Vuitton, he is Louis Vuitton. This news comes after months of speculation and strategic silence. Rumors about Jungkook's arrival in New York weeks earlier were denied by his agency, but the public knew better. His secretive appearances at elite Manhattan fashion studios, familiar faces from the fashion world pacing with high intensity, all indicated that something big was happening. But no one imagined this. Many questioned, why did Louis Vuitton choose Jungkook from so many of the world's top celebrities? The answer turned out to be simple yet revolutionary. He represents a generation that refuses to be pigeonholed. He is art, voice, and a silent force that electrifies the industry, said Nicolas Ghesquiere, creative director of Louis Vuitton, in his official press release. This move marks Jungkook's transformation from golden magnate to a global icon, blurring the lines between music, fashion, and culture. In a world where visual representation is everything, Jungkook's appearance on the USA Fashion Week runway is not just a fashion show, but a declaration that Asia is no longer a consumer market, but also a source of global influence. But behind the camera flashes and applause, there is a quieter and far more emotional story. Sources closest to Louis Vuitton leaked that a week before the show, Jungkook almost withdrew from the project. Not because of a lack of confidence from the team or brand, but because of tremendous internal pressure. Imagine being the face of a fashion house with over a century of history, standing on a stage that has never been occupied by an Asian celebrity in such a position, representing not only yourself, but also a country, fandom, and culture. The burden was immense, and it is at this point that this story changes from just a career achievement to a narrative about courage, support, and unwavering friendship. A few days before the show, Park Jimin, a fellow member of BTS, was seen at Incheon Airport wearing casual clothes and a dark hat. No announcements, no explanations. His destination? New York. Shortly after, a photo emerged capturing a private moment between the two in a luxurious Manhattan hotel lounge. Their body language spoke volumes. This was not a business meeting. This was an emotional intervention. Some sources say Jimin came not to persuade Jungkook to stay, but to accompany him, whatever his decision, and the result. History was written. On the opening night of USA Fashion Week 2025, amidst the spotlights and the hustle and bustle of reporters, Jungkook appeared with an aura that is difficult to explain. Wearing a signature Louis Vuitton design that blended French elegance and Korean street aesthetics, he walked calmly, almost meditatively. The audience was mesmerized. The fashion world was silent. In one moment, he wasn't just walking the runway. He mastered it. The video of his performance immediately went viral. Not only because of his striking visuals, but because of the emotional narrative that began to emerge behind the scenes. When Vogue USA called it the fashion moment of the decade, the public felt more than just visual admiration. They witnessed someone who almost backed down out of fear, now standing tall, representing the generation that grew up with him. The reaction from fans? an explosion of love never seen before. The hashtags #JungkookSLV and #JungkookUSAWeek flooded social media, with millions of supportive posts, tribute videos, and even open letters from fans sharing their personal struggles, all echoing one thing: you are not alone. What makes this story even more touching is Jungkook's attitude after the show. In an exclusive interview with Harper's Bazaar, he revealed, "I almost didn't attend that night. But someone reminded me that courage doesn't mean not being afraid, but still walking even when you are afraid." That sentence, short but deep, became a quote that adorned the front pages of dozens of global media outlets. Jimin, as always, chose to remain silent. But those who were present at the show saw him. In the front row, wearing a minimalist suit, his eyes never left the stage. When the show ended and Jungkook walked backstage, their eyes met for a moment. No words were spoken, just a smile. And in a world full of falsehood, that moment was more real than anything. For Louis Vuitton, the decision to choose Jungkook proved very smart. Sales soared just days after the show. The collection worn by Jungkook sold out in hours on online platforms. LV even announced plans to launch a limited edition collection themed JKLV 2025, marking this historic collaboration more permanently. However, for BTS and their fans, this achievement is more than just numbers. This is validation. Validation that their decade-long journey of blood, sweat, and tears has not only brought Korean music to the world stage, but also Korean faces to positions never before achieved. Now a big question hangs in the air. Does this mark the beginning of Jungkook's solo era? Is this the first step towards a BTS split? The official answer is not yet available. But in his short live broadcast after returning to Seoul, Jungkook said with a smile, "Yesterday's stage was mine, but the heart and strength to stand on it came from them." That's it. A sentence that not only dispelled speculation, but also reaffirmed that personal success does not mean abandoning roots. On the contrary, it confirms that family, both blood and chosen, remains at the center of everything. USA Fashion Week 2025 is now recorded in history not only for the beauty of its clothes, but for the true story of a young man who almost fell under pressure, but managed to stand back up. Because of one simple thing: he is not alone. Jungkook didn't just walk on the runway. He walked on fear, hope, and love. And at the end of that stage stood not just a star, but a symbol of courage in its most human form. Behind the scenes of USA Fashion Week 2025, reality or media illusion. But after all the glitz, accolades, and global recognition, the most profound and important question finally arises: is all of this really real? Or is this just a grand narrative stage built in such a way for the benefit of the media, brands, and fandom? Let's make it clear first. Most of the information circulating about Jungkook's involvement in USA Fashion Week 2025 comes from video snippets circulating on TikTok, clips on YouTube, speculation from Twitter, X, accounts, and a number of articles from media that are not entirely credible. Are you, as a viewer and reader, really sure that everything is fact? We are not questioning Jungkook's achievements as an artist. That is beyond dispute. What needs to be asked is, how do you verify that he really became the main model of Louis Vuitton in the USA Fashion Week 2025 presentation? Are the sources you read primary? Does the media that reports have a trusted journalistic track record? In an era where information can go viral in seconds and be misinterpreted in split seconds as well, skepticism is not a sign of hatred. It is a form of maturity. And today, we're all asked to be more than just spectators. We are asked to be judges. Write your comments. Discuss together. Because in this fast-paced world of information, only one thing keeps us sane: critical thinking.